Good evening. It is February 27, 2025. I have a lot of crap to go over today. I was out all day, so I wasn't able to come and do this until now. I'm sharing some very aggravating things. I'm going to start with this presser that President Trump did a couple days ago after he did a few more executive signings and executive order signings. And I'm going to play this particular part. And why I'm saying, here we go again. This is this part. So, play it.
On Friday to meet with you, and is the mineral deal sorted out?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly, it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me, and I understand that's a big deal, very big deal. And I think the American people, even if you look at polling, they're very happy because, Biden was throwing money around like it's cotton candy, and it's a very big deal. Look, it could be $1 trillion deal. It could be whatever, but it's rare earths and other things. And look, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Ukraine and Russia fighting a war that should have never, ever happened. That's a war that would have never happened if I were president. And it didn't happen for 4 years. People say, how do we know that it didn't happen for 4 years? Would have never happened. And nevertheless, this guy went into this situation and he spent money like nobody's ever seen. $350 billion. The other thing that we don't like is that Europe has spent $100 billion. We've spent $350 billion. Europe gets their money back because they spent it in the form of a loan. And we just gave them, whether it's 300 or 350 billion, nobody really knows. They can't even tell me the answer to that, but it means probably more than that. So what we're doing is now we're saying, look, we want to be secured. We want to get that money back. We're helping a country through a very, very big problem, a problem like very few people have had. Shouldn't have had this problem because it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. So we have to straighten it out. But the American taxpayer now is going to get their money back plus.
Mr. President, yesterday with Emmanuel Macron, you said you had spoken to Putin about the idea of peacekeepers in Ukraine, that Putin was fine with it. The Kremlin, I guess, has said that that's actually unacceptable to them. What's real here?
That's not what I was told. But you're going to need some form of peacekeeping, so something will be done that's going to be satisfactory to everybody. We need peacekeeping too.
Any situation
it's
where
actually
American troops involved?
It's actually something I did discuss, but a form of peacekeeping that's acceptable to everybody. Ultimately, we'll be able to agree on something. I'm sure.
With Ukraine and this mineral deal, what does Ukraine get in return, Mr. President?
$350 billion and lots of equipment, and military equipment, and the right to fight on, and originally the right to fight. Look, Ukraine, I will say they're very brave and they're good soldiers, but without the United States and its money and its military equipment, this war would have been over in a very short period of time. In fact, I was the one that gave the javelins. You remember the famous javelins? That was me. That wasn't Obama. It wasn't Biden. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. And they wiped out a lot of tanks with those javelins. And the expression was that Obama gave sheets and I gave the javelins. That was a big deal at the time. It wiped out. That was the beginning when people said, wow, that's something. Well, that was American equipment.
Okay. I'm going to stop here because, I've watched some other folks talk on this, and I will share Alex Christopherou's response to this in a minute. When I first watched it, I really did not everything was, I didn't absorb everything the first time I saw this, and it took a while to, I got the point of him wanting some money back from all the money that we gave during Biden was in, and our tax money was $350 million or $300 million, whatever it was, over the top. Okay, yeah, that without any promise for Ukraine to pay back that money, and but I'm a little bothered that he's doing this deal I know he loves to do deals, but to me, I agree. I listened to McGregor yesterday, Colonel McGregor, say you shouldn't even be doing this. It's terrible, optically, but also what he's saying, because it basically shows no regard for all of the people that have been killed in the war between Ukraine or conflict, whatever you want to call it, between Ukraine and Russia. And, before Trump had been saying, all these dead people, all these soldiers that have died, we need to stop the killing. But in this particular press conference, he barely brings that up at all, other than saying, this war wouldn't have happened. Well, he kind of contradicts himself by saying, I was the one that gave the javelins to Zelensky and Ukraine. I was the one that did that. So I helped. I was the one that started it, is basically what he's saying, other than the coup in 2014. He's basically saying that's how he started it, which is kicking himself. Basically, he stepped in it. He's kicking himself in. He's inserting his foot in his mouth. He's kicking himself on this. It's shooting himself in the foot by saying this. It's almost like he's undoing everything that he did right last week. All of a sudden it's, I have to do this deal. I have to do a deal. I mean, that's what I am. I'm a negotiator. He needs to shut up. Let his envoy, Rubio and Witkoff and I guess Waltz, finish up what they need to do to negotiate. And he needs to talk to Putin again, apparently, because Lavrov said a few hours before he did this press conference that they're not doing peacemakers, especially European ones, which again are going to be by Russia's border. That's the whole reason Russia went into Ukraine, to stop the encroachment. And if he's saying, it's okay, we're going to be in there, digging up the rare earth minerals, and nobody's going to bother us. He says that in this presser. Nobody's going to bother us while we're in there. And I'm just like, yeah, you actually could end up dead. I mean, this is just okay. Then he says, we're going to make a deal with rare earth minerals, which I've been told is really not that much in Ukraine, the amount of money for it. It isn't trillions. And some of that, the areas where the rare earth minerals are, is under Russia control in Ukraine. So, and then of course, Russia brought up that they had rare earth minerals, because they're trying to get a deal they want to try to work with Trump as well. But this whole thing with Ukraine is dumb. I don't think it's a good idea. It reminds me of his Gaza crap. I'm going to go in there and, make a Riviera of Gaza. We're going to clean it up. We're going to, ethnically cleanse all the Gazans, take them out, and then I'm going to make this big place with my hotel and my casino and all that stuff. This is the same thing. Let's forget about all the dead people in there. Let's just work on digging up the minerals we want, the resources. It's disgusting. And then the other one, supposedly, I heard the other things is oil and gas. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I thought this was America first, and that you did not want to have to get oil and gas, natural gas, or anything like that from other people. That's why we were drill, baby drill, going to be going into our own reserves and resources. So this whole thing is no, it's not good. then he says, in this deal, because they say, well, what is Ukraine going to get? He says, oh, well, you got the $350 billion and the military equipment and the right to fight. Again, it just sounds like Biden 2.0 if he's going to continue. And then he brags about this Javelin. Oh, look, I did it, and I destroyed a bunch of Russian tanks with it. It destroyed a bunch of... How does he even think about what he's saying? How rude and just... You're supposed to be trying to work on a deal with Russia, and he's saying this kind of stuff. Now, I'm sure Putin understands how, to a certain extent, how Trump is in his mouth. Because what Trump does is he shoots himself in the foot. He does something right, and then he, that's what Judge Napolitano was saying today. He does something good, and then he sabotages his own good decisions. It's stupid. It's inexplicable. So there was this issue. I'm going to play Alex's thoughts on this for you. So you could see he was, I heard him and I thought, yeah, that's true. And then I'm just sharing my thoughts, but I want you to hear him.
Have this deal in place, we can give Ukraine money and weapons, and the American people will know that this time around, this is not just a gift. We're actually getting something in return because we're going to have this rare earth minerals deal. And then he went off, and this is where he really, really lost it. In my opinion, this is where Trump really lost it. I mean, he was already starting to lose it as he was talking about Ukraine and the rare earth minerals deal, but then he really turned this executive order media event into a train wreck because he started to talk about javelins. This war would have never happened if I was president, and I was the toughest on Russia. I got the war going. That's pretty much what he said. I got the war going. I gave Ukraine javelins, and those javelins took out so many Russian tanks, and they were amazing. And I'm the one that gave Ukraine javelins. And Ukraine can fight on now, knowing that they can get weapons and money from us, and we've got the rare earth deal, so we're going to get something in return. I mean, the whole thing just went off the rails, completely off the rails, man. Trump is taking credit for the Javelin wonder weapons, which is true. Which is absolutely true. Trump, he escalated big time with Russia, and he did give Ukraine lethal weapons, and he bragged about it. But now that you're negotiating with Russia and you say that you want to get to some sort of a deal with the conflict in Ukraine, this was not the smartest statement to make. Not good, because the Russians are looking at all of this. They're listening to Trump, and they're probably saying, oh boy, here we go again. And so Russia's going to harden its position. Trump was making it out to be some sort of negotiating leverage, right? We got the minerals deal, and now we can supply Ukraine with weapons and money. So if Russia wants to make a deal, and he said, I believe Putin doesn't want to make a deal, that would be great. And let's get a deal quickly. Otherwise, now that we got the minerals deal, we can fight this conflict with Russia for a long time. That was his message. Trying to play it tough, hardball with Putin and Russia, which is a big mistake. Because Trump may think he has leverage on Russia, but he has no leverage on Russia, man. There is no leverage on Russia. Threats and stuff like this does not work with Putin. It will not work with Russia. Russia's just going to harden their position. And this was a mistake. This was a terrible mistake, these comments from Trump, an absolutely terrible mistake. And taking credit for the javelins, come on, man. Come on. The Telegraph, just 2 weeks ago, reported that the Russians have more Javelin missiles have more javelins than the British Army.
Oh, Lord. So, again, this is the issue with that. And then to add insult to injury. To add insult to injury. And I don't even want to play this because just seeing it once and then having to see it a second time to figure out what it was about was so horrible, so obscene. But we're going to put it out there for you so you can watch and see this horrible thing. I'll move over here so you can watch this horrific thing. So now he didn't do this video, okay? It's an AI video, but he posted it on his Truth Social, as you can see. Okay? I wish I could fit the whole thing, but apparently I can't. So maybe I could squeeze it down. I don't know, but there you go.
Finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one.
Okay, does anybody else feel like throwing up after seeing this, as I do? Do you feel like throwing up? The word that came to my mind after seeing that was obscene. I think that's the perfect word for it. Obscene. You know, even though it's not a real thing, the fact that you have this, whatever you want to call it, I mean, it is blasphemous as well with, it's practically idols of him. And it's disgusting. I know some MAGA people were saying it's anti-Christ-like, and they were outraged. So a lot of MAGA people were not thrilled with this. And, basically building over a cemetery of all those civilians that have died. Women, children, babies. This is disgusting. Did he even watch this thing? Did he played it, but what is he trying to get from this? And what is he trying to get really in this deal with the rare earths? The whole thing is a mess. Things are not getting better in the Middle East. So I shared that because it's outrageous. Now, we're going to shift to the hysteria, and I say hysteria, but it started out as hysteria, then it became, outrage and all that, and I can agree with some of this, of what happened today with the Epstein files. Let me see. Let me put myself back down here. So, Died Suddenly said a couple hours ago, "This is just insulting. We didn't ask for an e-celeb photo op. We asked for the unredacted Epstein files." Yeah. And why are these particular people getting the files? I really think it should have been put on. And by the way, these files they've already been in the public, so it's nothing new. So it feels very weird. We have these podcasters, whatever you want to call them. I've been told they're all, independent journalists, whatever they are, influencers. I heard. Why are they parading around with these things? And why did Bondi give that to them? She should have had a press conference. I agree with some other people that said that. And then the other thing was this. The New York FBI field office was allegedly hiding Epstein documents from the Trump administration. Well, I don't know if that's true either. I thought they already were shredding them, erasing them, you know. And apparently Attorney General Bondi is demanding these files, because all she had was a flight list that everybody already knew about, apparently. And I mean, the whole thing is a debacle. Now, there's a part of me that didn't think any of these Epstein files were ever going to come out in the first place, but the way this whole thing has been done and the craziness going on, I'm not sure what to believe. There's a part of me that thinks, okay, well, they should be immediately arresting those FBI agents that have been doing this, erasing, hiding, whatever, shredding, you know, arrest them, throw them in jail. People shouldn't be doing that. That's getting rid of evidence, and, you know, that's supposedly a crime. So the other side of me is thinking it's just a whole psyop. It's a psyop. And another part of me thinks, well, this is a distraction, so people can be up in uproar over this while something else is going on. And that could just be because we've seen this kind of stuff in our government for so long that we tend to suspect these kind of things that are worse, because they usually are. People were thinking it was going to be different. I know it's a little bit early yet, but we really need to see something done from Kash and Pam. Get this thing figured out. No, don't get me wrong. I didn't think it was going to be an easy thing to do. I didn't think, you know, the intel agencies were just going to hand it over without any resistance, any problems. But we'll see what happens. I just think this whole thing is a disaster. And then, as I said, with Trump's, whatever he's doing, you know, what is he? Is he crazy like a fox, or is he just plain crazy, or is he just, is this a ploy, or is he just being an idiot? It's hard to tell. Most people don't know what he's doing. Anyway, I wanted to share all that with you. Please share your comments and your ideas of what you think all this is below this video. Thanks for watching. Please follow my channel. Like my videos if you like them. Share my videos. Share my channel. Get my channel out there if you wouldn't mind. I appreciate your support. Until next time.